It's easy to assume that those around us have our best interests at heart, but actions often speak louder than words. Some people may smile in your face, but secretly hope you stumble. Others only show up when they need something, leaving you feeling used and undervalued. Here's the hard truth. Not everyone clapping for you is cheering out of love. That's why discerning who genuinely cares about you is essential. God calls us to guard our hearts, not out of bitterness, but out of wisdom and self-respect. Proverbs 4:23 reminds us, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. C.S. Lewis captured this reality in The Four Loves when he said, "To love at all is to be vulnerable. Love anything, and your heart will be wrung and possibly broken." That's why it's so important to be discerning. While love requires vulnerability, it doesn't mean exposing yourself to those who harm, manipulate, or drain you. Today, we'll uncover 8 behaviors of someone doesn't truly care about you, because let us be honest, life is too short to waste on people who leave you feeling empty, undervalued, and used. Let's get started. Sign number 1. They only come around when they need something. Let's start with the most obvious one. The people who only show up when they need something. You know the type. They're like fair weather friends, appearing out of the blue when they need a favor. But the moment the tables turn, they're nowhere to be found. That's not care, that's convenience. And let me tell you something. Real relationships aren't built on convenience. They're built on mutual respect, trust, and support. The kind of foundation that stands firm even when the winds of life get rough. Proverbs 19:4 says, "Wealth brings many friends, but a poor man is deserted by his friend." This verse paints a clear picture of how some relationships are built solely on what you have to offer. When the benefits dry up, so does their loyalty. C.S. Lewis captures this reality in The Four Loves. Those who cannot conceive friendship as a substantive love, but only as a disguise or elaboration of eros, betray the fact that they have never had a friend. In other words, true friendship isn't about what you can gain. It's about love that stands on its own, free of ulterior motives. When someone only values you for what you can do for them, they're not valuing you. They're valuing the benefit they get from you. You're not a friend in their eyes. You're a resource. And the moment you can't deliver, they go on just like that. That's not friendship. That's exploitation, plain and simple. True relationships thrive on give and take, not take and take. It's about being there for each other, not just when things are good or when there's something to gain, but especially when times are hard. Pay attention to who sticks around when the chips are down. Those are the people who truly care about you, not what you can provide for them. Look out for the ones who only call when they need something, the ones who ghost you when you need help, but show up when it benefits them. Let them go. Save your energy for the people who prove they're there for you through thick and thin. Because real care, it's a two-way street. Sign number 2, they downplay your successes. Now this one cuts deep, doesn't it? You've achieved something significant, a promotion you worked tirelessly for, a new business you poured your heart into, or even a personal milestone that means the world to you. But instead of meeting you with excitement and genuine pride, they shrug it off with a dismissive, "Oh, that's nice." Or worse, they twist it into something about themselves. "Well, I've done something like that before." As if your moment isn't even yours to enjoy. Here's the truth. People who don't care about you will struggle to celebrate your wins because your success makes them confront their own insecurities. Your progress becomes a mirror reflecting what they feel they lack, and rather than being inspired, they choose to downplay your achievements as if dimming your light will somehow make theirs shine brighter. C.S. Lewis explains the power of authentic friendship in The Four Loves. Friendship is born at that moment when one man says to another, "What? You too? I thought that no one but myself." True friends don't compete with you. They connect with you. They celebrate shared victories and encourage you to shine brighter, knowing your success doesn't diminish their own worth. Proverbs 27:17 reminds us, "As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another." True friends will celebrate your victories and push you toward greater success. They see your accomplishments as a reason to rejoice, not a reason to compete. Surround yourself with people who clap for you when you win, who genuinely take pride in your success without turning it into a competition. Those are your people, the ones who uplift you, who encourage you to keep reaching higher, who stand beside you without envy or resentment. And if someone can't do that, let them go. Protect your joy, celebrate your wins, and keep shining. Sign number 3, they constantly criticize you. Write in the comments, "Only God can judge me." There's a world of difference between constructive criticism and constant criticism. Constructive criticism comes from a place of love and genuine care. It's honest, thoughtful, and meant to help you improve. It's the kind of feedback that builds you up, even as it challenges you. But constant criticism, that's a whole different beast. It doesn't come from love. It comes from control, jealousy, or insecurity. When someone nitpicks everything you do, it's not about helping you grow. It's about keeping you small. They point out your flaws, amplify your mistakes, and undermine your confidence because they benefit from your self-doubt. It's a way to hold you back, to keep you second-guessing yourself so you never reach your full potential. That's not care. It's sabotage disguised as concern. C.S. Lewis, in The Great Divorce, illustrates the danger of negativity and its corrosive effect on the soul. Hell begins with a grumbling mood, always complaining, always blaming others, but you are still distinct from it. You may even criticize it in yourself and wish you could stop it, but there may come a day when you can no longer. Then there will be no you left to criticize the mood, or even to enjoy it, but just the grumble itself, going on forever, like a machine. Constant critics live in that grumbling state, and their words are more about their own inner struggles than your shortcomings. The Bible affirms the power of words in Ephesians 4:29. "Do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen." True care speaks life and encouragement, not negativity and destruction. If you're surrounded by constant criticism, step back and protect your peace. Sign number 4, they don't respect your boundaries. Boundaries are the cornerstone of every healthy relationship. They're not walls to shut people out. They're lines that define what's acceptable and what's not. They safeguard your peace, your time, and your energy, 3 of the most valuable resources you have. But when someone doesn't care about you, they'll ignore your boundaries like they don't exist. They'll push and push, testing your patience and taking more than you're willing or even able to give. Here's the truth. Boundaries are a reflection of self-respect. When you set them, you're saying, "This is what I need to feel valued and respected." But for some people, boundaries feel like an inconvenience. They see them not as a request for mutual respect, but as a challenge to overcome. C.S. Lewis, in The Weight of Glory, wrote, "You can't go on being a good egg forever. You either have to hatch or go bad." Respecting boundaries allows relationships to hatch and grow into something life-giving. But when boundaries are disregarded, relationships rot into something harmful. These are the people who try to guilt-trip you for saying no, manipulate you into overextending yourself, or disregard your limits entirely. And when they do, that's your red flag. Because here's the thing, every time you set a boundary, it's a test of the relationship. If someone truly respects you, they'll honor that boundary without hesitation. They'll understand that it's not about rejecting them, it's about protecting yourself. But if someone disregards your boundaries, that tells you everything you need to know about how they view the relationship. It's not built on mutual respect or care. It's one-sided, with them taking and you giving. You can't build something meaningful with someone who doesn't respect your limits. That's not partnership, that's exploitation. So don't be afraid to enforce your boundaries. The right people will respect them, and the wrong ones will show their true colors. Sign number 5, they're never happy for you. Let me ask you something. Have you ever had a moment where you shared something you were genuinely proud of? Maybe you got a promotion, reached a personal goal, or finally achieved something you've been working hard for. And instead of the excitement you expected, you were met with indifference, negativity, or even jealousy. If you have, you know how disappointing and disheartening that feels. That's a major red flag, my friend. The people who truly care about you don't just show up during the hard times. They also show up to celebrate the good ones. Real friends, real supporters are those who cheer for you when you're winning. They don't need to understand every detail of your journey to celebrate your happiness. They're genuinely glad to see you thrive because your joy brings them joy. But people who don't care, they'll find a way to twist the situation. Maybe they'll brush it off like it's nothing. "Oh, that's nice," they'll say with no real enthusiasm. Or maybe they'll downplay it with a comparison. "Well, that's not such a big deal. I've done something better." Worse yet, they might even criticize your accomplishment, making you question whether it was worth celebrating in the first place. That's not support. That's toxicity disguised as a response. C.S. Lewis captures this dynamic beautifully in The Four Loves when he writes, "Friendship is unnecessary, like philosophy, like art. It has no survival value. Rather, it is one of those things which give value to survival." True friends don't compete with your achievements. They give your life greater joy and meaning by sharing in them. Surround yourself with people who genuinely care. Philippians 2:3 reminds us, "Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves." True care flows from humility, celebrating others' victories with an open heart. Sign number 6, they gossip about you. This one's a no-brainer, but it absolutely needs to be said. If someone talks about you behind your back, they don't care about you, period. Gossip isn't just idle chatter. It's a form of betrayal. It's a deliberate act of undermining someone or trying to chip away at their character when they're not there to speak up for themselves. It shows a lack of respect and an absence of loyalty, two things that are fundamental in any meaningful relationship. Think about it. When someone spreads rumors or shares your personal business without your consent, what they're really doing is prioritizing their need for attention or validation over their respect for you. They're willing to sacrifice your trust just for a fleeting moment of entertainment or approval from others. That's not friendship. That's not care. That's selfishness. C.S. Lewis, in Mere Christianity, speaks to the harm of divisive behavior. If you do not actively work to keep hatred out, you will find it eats its way into everything. Gossip is one way this division spreads, creating fractures in relationships where love and loyalty should hold firm. Gossip doesn't just break trust, it sows seeds of division that can be hard to uproot. And here's the kicker. This is the part we often overlook. If they're gossiping to you about someone else, you better believe they're gossiping about you to someone else. It's a cycle. People who thrive on gossip rarely stop at just one target. They'll smile to your face, share juicy tidbits about others, and then turn around and do the exact same thing to you. It's who they are, and the sooner you recognize it, the better off you'll be. Proverbs 16:28 warns us, "A perverse person stirs up conflict, and a gossip separates close friends." Gossip isn't harmless. It destroys trust, fractures relationships, and reveals a lack of care and loyalty. True friends don't gossip about you. They stand up for you. Sign number 7. They're unreliable. You know the type. They tell you what you want to hear, making promises with all the sincerity they can muster. But when it's time to follow through, they're nowhere to be found. It's a pattern, a consistent disregard for the weight of their words. These aren't just empty promises. They're a reflection of how little they value the relationship, your time, and ultimately your trust. When someone consistently lets you down, it's more than just an annoyance, it's a message. It's a signal that their priorities don't include you. And while that truth might sting, it's a reality that you can't afford to ignore. Relationships, whether they're friendships, partnerships, or family bonds, are built on trust and mutual respect. When those foundations are shaky, the relationship becomes more of a liability than a source of strength. Think about it. How often do we overlook small signs of inconsistency in the name of loyalty or hope? We convince ourselves that they'll come through eventually, or that the promise is sincere, even if the follow-through is lacking. But the longer we hold on to broken promises, the more we compromise our own well-being. C.S. Lewis, in The Four Loves, highlights the essence of dependable relationships. Affection is responsible for 9/10 of whatever solid and durable happiness there is in our lives. True affection creates a foundation of reliability, where words and actions align to build trust. Unreliability, on the other hand, chips away at that happiness, leaving instability and disappointment in its place. Proverbs 25:19 warns us, "Trusting in a treacherous man in time of trouble is like a bad tooth or a foot that slips." Unreliable people create instability, making it impossible to depend on them when you need them the most. Sign number 8. They drain your energy. Finally, let's talk about energy. Have you ever been around someone who leaves you feeling exhausted, like they've sucked all the life out of you? That's an energy drainer. And let me tell you, energy drainers are dangerous. They'll take and take, leaving you with nothing left for yourself. They'll bring negativity into your life, weighing you down with their problems and complaints. And the worst part, they rarely, if ever, give anything back. You've got to protect your energy, my friends. It's not just a nice idea. It's a necessity. Your energy is one of the most valuable resources you have, and how you spend it will shape the quality of your life. Spend it on the right people, and you'll find yourself uplifted, inspired, and full of life. But spend it on the wrong people, and you'll feel drained, depleted, and questioning your worth. That's the reality, plain and simple. C.S. Lewis, in Mere Christianity, offers wisdom about this imbalance. Love is not affectionate feeling, but a steady wish for the loved person's ultimate good, as far as it can be obtained. Energy drainers do not reflect true love because their focus is on taking rather than giving. True relationships are built on mutual care and the desire for each other's well-being, not one-sided dependency. Now, I know this might sound harsh to some of you. Maybe you're thinking, shouldn't we try to see the good in everyone? And yes, seeing the good in people is important. But there's a fine line between being understanding, and letting people take advantage of your kindness. Life is too short to waste on people who leave you feeling empty, undervalued, or used. It's not about cutting people off just to prove a point. It's about creating space for the right people to come in. Life is too short to spend it on people who don't care about you. Surround yourself with love, with support, and with positivity. Build relationships that nourish your soul, not ones that drain it. Choose people who lift you up, who celebrate your wins, and who stand by you in your losses. And always, always remember your worth. When you stand tall, when you set boundaries, when you prioritize your peace, you're not just protecting yourself. You're creating a life that's fulfilling, joyful, and free. Not everyone who smiles at you is your friend. Not everyone who checks in on you is rooting for you. People can say all the right things and still treat you wrong. That's why it's so important to pay attention, not just to what people say, but to how they make you feel. Watch their actions, especially during tough times, because it's easy to be there when everything's going well. But the real test of a person's character is how they show up when things get hard. Look for patterns, not isolated incidents. People will show you who they are if you pay attention long enough. Trust your instincts, guard your heart, and live in peace. Life is too short to spend it on people who don't care about you. Surround yourself with love, with support, and with positivity. Build relationships that nourish your soul, not ones that drain it. Choose people who lift you up, who celebrate your wins, and who stand by you in your losses. And always, always remember your worth. When you stand tall, when you set boundaries, when you prioritize your peace, you're not just protecting yourself. You're creating a life that's fulfilling, joyful, and free. Not everyone who smiles at you is your friend. Not everyone who checks in on you is rooting for you. People can say all the right things and still treat you wrong. That's why it's so important to pay attention, not just to what people say, but to how they make you feel. Watch their actions, especially during tough times, because it's easy to be there when everything's going well. But the real test of a person's character is how they show up when things get hard. Look for patterns, not isolated incidents. People will show you who they are if you pay attention long enough. Trust your instincts, guard your heart, and live in peace.